from Iowa City. And right away, it's Johnson drawing contact. And 2 shots for the Virginia star.
The attention defensively will be on Kimora Johnson. The defense isn't set up and she attacks it. She's very good at making a read when you make a mistake and making you pay. She's a 3-level scorer and already kind of catching this Iowa defense sleeping.
Felt like in the win on Saturday against Georgia, in which she had a game-high 28, we really saw those 3 levels of.
And that's a tough foul because her presence on the court is more valuable than any type of play she would have made on the ball so far away. Like, she knows her value, and she's got to be smart with the fouls right there. Not a good one.
0 for 3 start from the floor for Virginia. Their lone 2 points at the foul line. Amanze almost lost it. Clark knocks in an open 3. One of 3 Virginia seniors that don't want their careers to end in Iowa City today. Stolke back out, Feuerbach 3, responds. Johnson off the pick. Amanze fighting with Hyden in the low post. Johnson pops and rims it out. Strumlow full head of steam. Rebound Paris Clark, who's playing with pace. Backdoor feed Johnson. Picked by Strumlow. Up ahead Hyden, catch and finish. To shoot for Clark. Pushes it into Amanze, draws the foul, and 1. Chance at the 3-piece for the Princeton transfer.
Coach Mox called Tabitha Amanze an X factor in this game. Paris Clark does a nice job of drawing the defense, but actually it's a really tough pass. She catches Ava Hyden, not aware of her defender and the ball. Amanze made a great catch and then finished there. An important play because honestly, Iowa had momentum and defensively we're doing a good job of keeping players in front and then keeping them one and done, boxing out and not allowing offensive rebounds. So Virginia really bailed out with a nice play there.
Hyden goes to the bench with 2 fouls. Early storyline here in Iowa City. So it's Stolke. Still no points for the Who's leading scorer, Kimora Johnson. Amanze catch and shoot, deep 2 off the front end.
0 offensive boards for Virginia. Iowa's boxing out, they're grabbing that defensive rebound and pushing the pace.
And a travel will give it right back to Virginia. Very interesting start. Virginia with 7 early points despite making just in their first round victory against Georgia on Saturday. And the Who's with a 2-point lead. Feuerbach off the mark with a 3 for an Iowa starting 5 that managed just 1 made triple in their near scare against 15 seed FDU on Saturday. Feels like they're a little bit more settled in this highly competitive matchup against Virginia. Jan Jensen told us she felt some tightness from her Iowa Hawkeyes in a game that was 2 points with 5 minutes to go on Saturday against FDU.
Well, at practice yesterday, Coach Jensen actually sent her Iowa team home 45 minutes left in practice. She ended the practice early and just wanted them to have the rest of the day off. Had told them to get back to the joy, the feeling free, and just enjoying the moment of being here today.
Hannah Stolke, a senior from right here in Iowa. 3-time All-Big Ten recipient, coming off her 8th double-double of the season. Samaya Smith. Entry pass foul on Stolke, trying to get it down to Weimer. And that is the fourth on the Hawkeyes. One more Virginia in the bonus.
But you know, we were coming back to what Coach Jensen told us about sending the team home early yesterday. She also told them to write in her gratitude journal. They have a gratitude journal in their playbook, and she wanted them to write 3 things they're grateful for. And just to keep today light, remember the joy, the gratitude, and take away some of the pressure and tightness that they felt in that first round game.
Speaking of pressure, Johnson has felt it from every angle and every Iowa defender to start. Still no points on the floor for Virginia's leading scorer. Meanwhile, Paris Clark has a pair of steals. And back the other way for the Hoos. Smith cannot bank it in. First offensive rebound for Virginia. It's Weimer with the putback despite all of the contact underneath.
I think what sets that up, though, is offense created by defense. Virginia was able to beat the defense down the court before it could set up, and that put Iowa out of position, and they were able to get an offensive rebound.
Journey Houston, freshman floater, no. Stolke offensive board. Chit-chat right, a 3. And Samaya Smith playing in her 13th NCAA tournament game with a rebound. Airmailed pass from Johnson.
But I like the energy of it from Kimora Johnson. She's trying to push the pace. I think pace is going to be helpful for Virginia because so far, when Iowa has had a chance to set up their half-court set defense, they've been keeping Virginia in front. They've been frustrating Kimora Johnson a little bit, and they've been boxing out hard.
Johnson's lone 2 points at the free throw line. Chit-chat right with a high archer. And an offensive foul will go against Weimer. And it's back to the Hawkeyes.
Weimer on the handoff gets called on this charge with the screen.
Right thought about it. Still no threes in the game for Iowa. 15 to shoot. Hawkeyes still playing without Ava Hayden on the bench with 2 fouls. That was partially blocked by Levy. And back the other way. Clark finding Johnson. Levy tries a 3. Feuerbach cross-court pass. Stremlo. Good offensive rebound, Journey Houston. Right floater. Stolke again. Right reloads and knocks it in. Deep 2. Double team comes. Houston knocks it loose. 6th turnover on Virginia. Right, lost it. Clark almost stole it. Feuerbach tries a 3. Cleared by Clark, 5 seconds up to Levy. Gonna beat the buzzer, yes! With the lay-in, and we're tied at 13 at the end of the first. Chamaka Agugwa Hamilton trying to bring Virginia to a Sweet 16 for the first time since 2000.
Her outfit she's wearing is significant. Ankara outfit representing her culture and heritage as a Nigerian. It was important to represent for her culture, she said, on a big stage.
The biggest stage the Hoos women's basketball program has been on since 2018. Still no Ava Hayden to start the second quarter. Picked up 2 early fouls in the first. Stolke, extra pass, and Journey Houston beats the horn.
And right now you're seeing Gabby White bringing the ball up It pushes Kimora Johnson off, maybe taking a little bit of pressure off of her. She's got 4 of the team's 6 turnovers, 0 for 3 in this game as Kimora Johnson to start. It's been very tough defense against her.
Levy, floater no, last touch by Virginia. That'll be Iowa ball. How can the Hoos get Kimora Johnson going? Remember, this is a young lady that was second in the ACC in scoring this year, nearly 20 a game.
Well, you've already seen one adjustment, bringing Gabby White in off the bench and to allow her to push Kimora Johnson off the ball and maybe use her more as just a scorer, not having to set everything up and have the ball dribbling in her hands the whole time.
Chit-Chat Wright likes the ball in her hands. And Journey Houston has another putback for Iowa.
High impact minutes for Journey Houston in the paint in deep against the big size of Virginia. Come in the game and be ready to execute your assignment.
Johnson left open. Long with the 3. Weimer offensive board and the putback. Had a double-double in their first 4 victory against Arizona State on Thursday. Zip pass, Houston, in and out. Almost tapped back in, Amanze clears. Gabby White, the freshman for Virginia, running the point. Her mother on the coaching staff in North Carolina gives it to Levy. Weimer, offensive board.
Well, right now you're seeing Iowa has now shifted into a zone defense. It's allowing Kimora Johnson not to have quite as much physical ball pressure on her, and it's also hard to rebound out of a zone defense. And now you're seeing Virginia start to get on the offensive glass.
Here's Chit-Chat Wright. Back out Strenlow, Feuerbach. Still no threes from Feuerbach, and just 1 in the game for Iowa. Weimer knocks down a baseline 2.
So far, Virginia has found success and a little bit of poise now against the zone switch-up defensively from Iowa.
Which is something the Iowa Hawkeyes have rarely run defensively this year in the Big Ten. Wright responds with a 2.
Yeah, Iowa.
Chat Wright with 6 early points.
Iowa normally runs their player-to-player defense. They were working on it in practice yesterday. They were trying to figure out some different ways to be disruptive, but it's tough to learn a defense quickly, and it's also, again, really hard to rebound out of a zone sometimes, and that's one thing Virginia does very well.
Travel on the Hoos, their 7th turnover. And now Ava Hayden will come back onto the floor for the first time since midway through the first.
Tabitha Amanze dribbling into traffic. Not a great decision for the big girl right there. Might want to pass it out and then set up her seal or set up her movement behind the zone.
Hayden battling with Amanze in the post. Now will come up to set a screen. Stolke draws a bump from Amanze. That's her first team. Zipped into Hayden, the double comes, and that is the second foul on Caitlin Weimer. Foul trouble was an issue for Virginia in their first round victory against Georgia. Had 2 post players foul out in that game that went overtime.
You've really got to work on doing your work early. You want to get the right angles defensively. A huge key to the game for Virginia is defending without fouling. And Ava Hayden puts pressure on you with how deep she likes to get.
For the 6th straight year, every NCAA Women's Championship game is on the networks of ESPN. For more information, go to ncaa.com. Hayden drills them both. Coming off a career-high 29 points in the victory over 15-seed FDU, a 1-point Iowa lead. Amanze rips it over the top of Hayden, tapped out by Samaya Smith, and there was a whistle in there. And it will go against Smith, and that's number 2 on the LSU transfer. And now she has to come right back out after just checking back in. And a dang ring. The sophomore will come in her spot.
She's just jumping right over the head of Feuerbach. A little bit out of control right there. And again, just understanding your value on the court versus unforced errors like that.
Remember, Samaya Smith had a huge game against Georgia, 23 points. 2-on-2. If White pushes, does. And a jump ball is called, and it will stay with Virginia.
Chit Chat Wright has had an incredible start to this game. Defensively getting back, being disruptive. Offensively coming out and being aggressive and assertive for her shot. The ball was brought down to where Chit Chat could get it, and she mucked up the play. She is someone that the entire team is asking for more from because they know she has a lot to give.
We were at the Iowa practice yesterday. Jan Jensen stopped it, looked right at Chit Chat and said, I need NCAA tournament Chit Chat. Who else is with me? And the rest of the team echoed that sentiment.
She said, who's tired of passive Chit Chat? Who wants to see kick butt Chit Chat? And the whole team started clapping and screaming, you know, and it's good for a player to know your teammates believe in you.
Here she comes with the basketball, the first-year transfer from Georgia Tech, where she came off the bench on a run to the NCAA tournament. This year, the starting point guard, and she turned it over. A 1-point.
Virginia right now that has 7 turnovers in this game. But one way they've gotten it back is on the offensive glass. They've been able to get 7 points off of that. And especially while your star player in Kamora Johnson hasn't found it yet, they've been getting other contributions in the roster, and that's key.
And for Virginia, they're 2 starting bigs. Amanze and Smith on the bench with 2 fouls. Meanwhile, Iowa's star post player is in with 2. And now they have checked Amanze back in for Virginia.
Well, coming off the bench for Virginia, speaking of bigs, Caitlin Weimer has been excellent for them. 4 for 4 off the bench.
Here's Amanze, just checked back in with those 2 fouls and knocks down the baseline jumper against the zone.
I like the way Amanze has started this game. She only has 1 foul. That was key for her. She's had a lot of foul trouble in the 2 games they've played so far.
Yes, I beg your pardon. It's Weimer on the bench with 2, Smith on the bench with 2, and Amanze playing with 1.
And right there, she did it again. Defense against Hayden, who's trying to get deep position. But look, she turns into a double team that's 6'3", 6'4", and up. That's a big double down there. Watch the 2 bigs for Virginia. This is a team that's number 1 in the nation for shot blocking. They said, forget the block. We don't want you to foul. Go hands up, wall up. And that's exactly it.
Knocks down a 3. A rare triple for a 27% three-point shooter and a 4-point lead for Virginia. Stolke through the double team. Wild shot, got her own miss. Shot clock did not reset. Stremlo 3. Ball still charred around, and Journey Houston has been a spark plug off the bench for Iowa.
I'm seeing a lot of concentration from Virginia, though, defensively. They are working to wall up, defend, trap on the post, and keep their hands high without fouling. They've been able to muck up a few plays now and get deflections.
Almost a 5-second count. That was raked out of bounds by Ring.
Ring's had good minutes off the bench. She's come into the game, understood the assignment. I'm going to double hard. I'm keeping my hands straight up. I'm boxing out, and I'm trying to get the rebound.
Played 8 minutes against Georgia because of the foul troubles. The most minutes she had played since mid-February.
She's 6'5". Like, her length makes a difference in the paint. And especially when she's the person coming to double, it's huge.
Houston back out right 3. There's been a lid on the rim from deep for Iowa. They're now 1 for 12. Ring again. Stolke doubled, looking for a backdoor cut, instead was fouled, and Coach Mox doesn't like the call.
That was the first time I saw Amanze be undisciplined, swiping down at the ball. The talking points at practice were hands straight up, and she gets called on the foul.
Well, Virginia has already bucked one trend in this tournament by winning their first round game. Just the second team out of the first four in the history of this tournament to win their second NCAA game. Now trying to be the higher seed in the first to win in the second round of this tournament. Good rebound by Amanze.
Amanze and Ring have been incredible in the paint. The two of them reading, talking, communicating, and coming over quick. Either one on the double. It's been really great interior defense.
Johnson, T3. Oh, yeah. Her second triple. And the largest lead for Virginia leads to an Iowa timeout.
And then executing it, coming together and buying in. And right now, this Virginia program, a very legacied one, is building it back up and trying to get back there.
Virginia has been to 12 Sweet 16s as a program, 3 Final Fours, featuring, of course, the great Dawn Staley and so many others that brought this program to national prominence.
And actually, head coach Debbie Ryan of those Final Four teams, she's here. She's been with the team. She's at practice with them, supporting them, and also a big advocate for Coach Mox.
Bierbach gets it out of traffic, flipped up right. Iowa needing a bucket here. On 4 minutes without a field goal. They go inside to Hayden, left hand won't go, and the rebound cleared by Ring.
This is a tough challenge for Ava Hayden, the sophomore. There's so much different types, diversity of size for Virginia, and right now Amanze is very physical and strong, matching what Hayden can bring.
Ring into Amanze. Hayden well defending. Still just the 1-3 for this Iowa team. Right in the paint, and a floater is good, and that stops a 5-minute scoring drought for the Hawkeyes. And now the shot clock turned off for Virginia to close the first half. Johnson with 5. Johnson with 3. By Stremlo. Great defense by the Hawks.
Amanze is 6'4". Adang Ring is 6'5". Samaya Smith is 6'2". Like, they're really able to crowd her.
And a whistle on Tabitha Amanze. That's number 2. So now 3 Virginia bigs with 2 fouls. They really clamped down on Hayden. Of course, she didn't play much in the first quarter. Picked up 2 quick fouls. 3-point shooting. Still well below the standard for Iowa, like we saw yesterday. They were 1 for 13 against FDU, 1 for 12 in the first half, and Levy has a pick 6.
Those are the types of blue-collar, extra effort, hustle plays that Romy Levy brings to this team and is absolutely and has been an X factor in this tournament for Virginia.
That 14 points, 5 steals, and lockdown second half D against Georgia. Chat right. Just the second 3 of the game for Iowa. Johnson, backdoor Levy, goes baseline. Clark inside to Amanze, and there was a travel, but boy, a lot of contact in there on the initial pass. Coach Mox can't believe it.
I am just as confused. It looks like Ava Hayden is pushing backwards on Tabitha Amanze. I was expecting to see a foul call, but that call is crucial because it brings Amanze to the bench. She's been terrific with her strength and concentration against Ava Hayden.
Deep post catch for Hayden. Stolke got it back. Stremlo, 3. Stolke again, the offensive board. And Coach Mox calls a timeout for Virginia.
After games, she'll send them text messages, or even yesterday she took a teammate to breakfast. But she said, Roz, ultimately, they've just got to feel it. There's nothing I can say that'll compare to actually feeling what this experience is.
She has played over 3,000 minutes in her career and has a steal of Samaya Smith. Good backdoor feed. Stremlo extra pass. Hayden knocks it down. Tied at 30. Johnson floater, no. And cleared away by Stolke, who had a season-high 16 boards in the win against 15-seed FDU on Saturday. It was a game dominated by Iowa's posts because of the size discrepancy, and Jan Jensen told us, even though we felt the tension, we ended up weathering the storm. I was really proud of my ladies for that on the precipice of a potential historic upset. Stolke again, a menace on the boards, throws it away back to Virginia.
And you'll notice Iowa has come back out here in a player-to-player defense. They've gotten out of that zone, and it's Kylie Fehrbach, who is known for her defense. She's got the assignment of Kimora Johnson. She is determined. She's got a great motor defensively, and she's long. She's 6 foot versus Kimora Johnson's 5'7".
Johnson with 8 first-half points, had a couple of threes and 2 made free throws. Here's Amanze. Feeds to Clark, who has been uber consistent as a 3-year starter for Virginia.
Amanze avoids the charge here, but it's Paris Clark who doesn't just watch the play. You can't stand and watch. You've got to continue to move without the ball. And the defense was sleeping. She got right to the heart of the paint for a jumper.
She has scored in double figures in 3 of the last 6 games. Has had very impactful minutes throughout this NCAA tournament run, featuring 2 wins, one over ASU and one over Georgia. 5 to shoot for Fehrbach. Now Stremlo with 2. Knocks down 3. Johnson hoist. The rebound, Stolke. Well, that is a tough matchup for Johnson against Kylie Fehrbach, known for her defense on the All-Big Ten defensive team. Counting on the foul for Hayden.
Hayden able to make a quick, decisive move towards the rim. Before any double team can come, she goes baseline. It's also the position that she's able to set up inside. Right there, catches the D sleeping.
A 13-2 Iowa run, and now this crowd of 14,300 plus on their feet. Levy slips inside. Weimer just missing out on a 3-point play opportunity. Will get 2 shots.
Weimer is a player who has had so many injuries in her career. It almost kept her from playing basketball, but she kept fighting back. She's not quite as mobile and athletic as she used to be, but she's super fundamental and very efficient near the rim.
Well, coverage of the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship continues on CBS, TBS, TNT, and True TV. For tournament games and networks, go to ncaa.com. Iowa men's basketball reaching the Sweet 16 for the first time since 1999 after knocking off Florida last night. Here's Stolke, left hand somehow double clutched and put it down. chit-chat right. Stremlo zips, Hayden rolls it in.
Run, Ava, run. Now it's a couple times we've seen in this game where Ava Hayden at 6'5" will run her tail down that court. It was a foot race to the box. She got down to the block in deep position and put Tabitha Amanze in foul trouble again. It's the hustle that busts her tail to get down there. Whoa.
Amanze will go to the bench with 4 fouls. Ava Hayden, such a tough assignment. First team All-Big Ten as a sophomore, honorable mention All-American. Has 11 points. Kimora Johnson has been quiet for the Hoos, picked by Feuerbach. And a late whistle.
Defense. It's that Iowa defense right now that has changed this game. Deflections, steals, defense creating offense, and certainly disruptive for Kimora Johnson in the moments where Iowa's in that man-to-man defense versus the zone.
Iowa has forced 12 Virginia turnovers. Feuerbach, a big part of that. The steady leader and defensive anchor of this team. Jensen said the younger players, and there are a lot of them, look up to her, not only defensively, but overall. Virginia on the wrong end of a 6-0 run. And Samaya Smith ends that with her championship experience from LSU a couple of years ago. Now defending Stokey in the post. Kick ball on Johnson. These are the first points of the day for Samaya Smith.
These are huge baskets for Samaya Smith. The defense has been leaving her in this tournament, and when she just steps into it without overthinking, she's been huge in knocking it down and burning them for that space.
Coming off a double-double in the overtime win against Georgia, had 23 points, 11 boards. Went to 3 Elite Eights with the LSU Tigers. Trying to extend the Hoos season today. Taps it around and corrals the defensive board, and now Johnson off to the races. Brianna Hurd checking in for the first minutes, and a whistle on Iowa. Travel on Samaya Smith. Hawkeyes have made 4 of their last 5 field goals after shooting just 28% in the first half. Stokey, good bounce pass, high and left it short with a left hand. The ACC's second leading scorer, Kimora Johnson, still in search of her first second-half field goal. Gets it back with 10. Kick to the corner, Hurd. Fighting for her own miss. It's Stokey coming away with it, as she's done so much in this tournament. Back-to-back games with at least 10 rebounds. And it'll stay here. Last touch by Virginia. 21 to shoot for Iowa.
Ava Hayden keeps trying to establish that deep position, but she is going up against very strong, big, tall posts for Virginia, and it's been a struggle for her to find the rhythm.
Jan Jensen told us, we faced really good post teams in the Big Ten this year, but none as deep or as versatile, as you mentioned, Roz, as this Hoos team. Stokey draws a foul.
Samaya Smith came down with her hands. In the second half, I haven't seen quite as much discipline and concentration on the game plan of defending without fouling. That is a blatant bringing down of your hands, Samaya Smith. The talking points in practice for Virginia was wall up, hands straight up. Virginia's the #1 team in the nation for shot blocks. Coach Mock said, forget the block. Defend without fouling. It is really tough against this Iowa team that just draws so many fouls.
How much do you think fatigue plays a role in that now for Virginia? They've played in back-to-back uber physical, down-to-the-wire games, including an OT game on Saturday.
I think fatigue is a real thing. I also think rhythm comes from playing all these games. Confidence as well for a team that hasn't been to the tournament in 8 years. And we even asked Coach Mox about that at practice yesterday, and she said, I told my team, there's no time to be tired in March. There's no time for it. we can be tired mid-April, baby. Let's go.
Kamora Johnson has felt the pressure all day from this Iowa defense. Tries a deep three and hits it over the top of Chit-Chat Wright, her third.
Well, Chit-Chat Wright is a much smaller defender than Kylie was, and that's a difference, an ability for Kamora Johnson to get comfortable there and get a rhythm dribble into that shot.
Double on Hyden by Stremlow, and that's a double dribble.
Technically, Chit-Chat Wright is there, but it's vision that suddenly Kamora Johnson has, because Chit-Chat is 5'4", and Feuerbach was 6 foot on her defensively.
She now has 98 threes this year. That's a program record. Levy, kick. Hurd off the bounce. Weimer. Hyden fighting for positioning deep on Weimer. It's gotten deeper as the game has gone along. Hyden finding that low block touch. And the sophomore was 16 to lead all scores. Ring zips it down. Hyden through contact. It was last touched by Iowa.
First of all, one of the things that Hyden does is her motor running down the court. What helps her get position is that she beats you to the spot, and then she's using her body and strength to stay low and keep sealing to create the angle for that pass. There's nothing lazy about this big girl's game.
Johnson short. A lot of one-and-done trips for a team that led the ACC in offensive rebounding for much of the year. Average right around 14 per game. Today they just have 3. Big to big. Hyden goes left, has 18.
Patience from Iowa. The first pass from the wing wasn't there, so they swing to the top to go high-low.
And Weimer draws a foul on Hyden. That's number 3. Picked up 2 quick ones in the first quarter. That's her first of the second half.
The pass wasn't there from the wing. There was a front. So Ava Hyden directs them to get it to the top, where they're great high-low action from Hannah Stuelke to Ava Hyden. It's patience in the offense. It's also the big girl understanding the angles and directing traffic for where she wants it.
With Hyden out, Johnson goes into the paint. Fade away. Cannot bank it down, and Feuerbach toughly wins that rebound. Shot clock turned off. Right pitch. Houston, Stuelke, yes, to beat the horn and give the Hawkeyes their largest lead of the game.
It was their defensive intensity, the deflections, the steals that created offense that got them some momentum.
Inside Hyden, feels a body, jump ball, and the possession arrow to Virginia. Speaking of fouls, Virginia still without Samaya Smith and Tabitha Amanze. They begin the fourth quarter on the bench in foul trouble. Well,
Caitlin Weimer in a dang ring, that's 6'5" and 6'4" that just stuffed her up with a huge double team.
Nifty floater by the grad transfer from USF. Romy Levy's had a big tournament for the Hoos. Hyden, deep touch, short with the left hand. It's Levy with a rebound.
How many teams can say you've got 2 starter bigs on the bench and then you've got another 2 that are 6'4" and 6'5" that can give the other star player trouble?
Levy turns the corner, pops and drops.
Levy's been great here, but the depth of bigs for Virginia is special.
Feuerbach goes inside, Heiden with 18. Re-entry, felt the double, patiently goes to the right hand, and the hook shot is good. A 20-point performance for the All-Big Ten sophomore. Paris Clark cradles, goes up with it, and rims it out. And then crashes in, and a foul on Paris Clark, her first.
And you watch Ava Heiden clearing the space for the guards to go and get that ball. Everybody hustling in.
The offense has come with great difficulty, it feels, Roz, in the second half for Virginia.
Well, the hard part of it is so much of good things for Virginia start with Kamora Johnson. She just really hasn't been able to find a great rhythm in this game.
Just 3 points in the second half on 1 of 5 shooting. Got a game-high 28 in the win over Georgia on Saturday. Stremlo, 3.
You've got to credit the defense of Iowa.
Johnson step-back triple. And Hannah Stolke with her 12th rebound of the day. Chit-chat, Heiden, yes! Clark, catch and shoot, rims it down to momentarily silence this crowd of 15,000. Stolke had it picked off. A dang ring giving the Hoos good minutes off the bench due to the foul trouble in the front court. Clark, back-to-back threes.
Paris Clark, her hustle, her tenacity on defense and offensively now, getting the shot. She has been single-handedly trying to spark this Virginia team right now.
And she forces an Iowa timeout. 6-0 run for Paris Clark. Has 11 points, 3 for 3 from downtown.
Well,
16 of her 22 points have come in the second half. She has 35 second half points this weekend, including the first round win over FDU. 10 to shoot. Stolke trying to find Heiden. It's going the other way.
What's really impressive too for Ava Heiden, this is a sophomore. Like, this is a player who last season averaged 10 minutes a game. She's up almost 13 points per game from last season. This was a breakout year. And the way she is handling all of these different defensive coverages from players 6'4", 6'5", it's been impressive.
Clark, fadeaway, has made 3 buckets in a row and has a solo 8-0 run for Virginia. Now down 1. Defending Chit-Chat Wright. Different look in Paris Clark's eyes over the last 2 minutes. Heiden kick, Stremlo 3. And the rebound of Monze playing with 4 fouls. Johnson head up. Gets it to the hot hand. Clark to a curling Levy. Banks it in and out. Chit-Chat Wright. Yes, sir. From downtown. Points for Chit-Chat Wright. Ring steps back. Long with the 3. Levy tracks it down. Shot clock did not reset. Clark tries. And Heiden corrals the rebound. Hawkeyes seeking their third trip to the Sweet 16 in the last 4 years. Virginia has not been there since 2000. They have been the darlings of the dance to this point, the last remaining double-digit seed. Picked off by Stremlo. Four-point game under 5 minutes to play. Stolke back out. Wright saved it. Picked by Johnson. Boy, that was great transition defense by Feuerbach. Ring, dead away three. And a timeout taken by Iowa. Chit-Chat Wright limping off a little bit. She has been huge in this game. 14 points, 5 rebounds. Iowa with 1 timeout remaining. Winner of our matchup here will get TCU in the Sweet 16. Meanwhile, Oklahoma punched its ticket already and now awaits the winner of South Carolina and USC. Many folks would love to see a Iowa-South Carolina rematch dating back to the Caitlin Clark years. Chit-Chat Wright, the sophomore, trying to propel them there.
Chit-Chat is unrecognizable from that first round game, where Coach Jan Jensen said post-game, I was running plays to her and she wouldn't take the shot. And in this game, she has come out assertive, aggressive, confident. Often she likes to defer, but here she's been taking her shot, which everyone's encouraging her to do. And defensively also making plays. She's just fully in rhythm.
Stolke in rhythm. Off the window. 3-time All-Big Ten senior trying to will Iowa to the next weekend of the big dance. Levy catch and shoot. Short with the 3. Rebound Clark and a fresh 20. Johnson through the double. As she has seen all day. Draws contact and a foul on Iowa, just their first. And the second on Feuerbach.
Kamora Johnson has been under duress since the first 4 games. You know, there might be fatigue setting in too. The fact that she has literally seen the biggest, strongest defenders and crowds since the start of this tournament play here in Iowa City.
And played 45 minutes on Saturday in the OT win. Just 3 points in the second half for Johnson. Levy left open. Cans a 3.
What a penetrating pitch from Kamora Johnson. Under duress, 3 defenders converge. She finds Levy for 3.
Right back into the game after receiving the Theragun and a snack on the Iowa sideline. 3 minutes to play in Iowa City. And a kick ball. Boy, you couldn't hear the whistles in here. It'll stay with Iowa.
Kamora Johnson off the bounce with her head up. 3 defenders converge. And she is able to kick it out to a wide open Romy Levy, ready to make that play.
Another double-digit scoring performance for Romy Levy. At 14 in the win against Georgia on Saturday. Hayden off the back iron. Last touch by the Hoos. It'll stay here. Fresh 20 underneath for the Hawkeyes.
There's a number of plays where Hayden is recognizing she's one-on-one and she's going straight up when that happens.
Stremlo calling out the offense. Lob pass picked off by Amanze. Heady play with 4 fouls.
Well, the defense was there. They forced that in.
Johnson 3 for the tie. Bang! 57 apiece. Right, probing. Hayden kicks. Stremlo, three. Stokey fighting for it, but it's Paris Clark, the senior, trying to keep her career alive. 90 seconds, seeking its first lead in the fourth quarter. Now that the coach mocks timeout, it's Johnson. 10 to shoot. Johnson off the bounce. Smith with three. Back to Johnson. Step back three. Blocked by Feuerbach. And a shot clock violation.
I tell you what, the box score won't tell the story on the importance of the impact of defense from Kylie Feuerbach. She has worked her tail off to make this game hard for Kimora Johnson. It is a worthy battle of respect, both sides.
6-0 run for Virginia over the last 2 minutes. Approaching a minute to play. Winner to the Sweet 16 to take on TCU. Stokey blocked by Amanze. Playing with those 4 fouls and having a career day in the NCAA tournament.
Amanze staying with her hands up, using her feet to beat Stokey to the spot. Defense without fouling there, really critical because she's been in foul trouble. That inside hand helps her too.
Neither team in foul trouble here with less than a minute to play in the fourth. Tied at 57. Almost picked by Paris Clark.
I'll tell you what,
stay with Iowa.
Virginia would not be back in this game without the efforts of Paris Clark. She has just been undeniable with her hustle and heart on display.
13 points, 5 boards, 4 assists, and a steal for the senior from the Bronx. Wright with 10 to shoot. Off the bounce. Wright off balance. Smith tracks it down, falls, and draws a foul on Iowa. And if that's on Ava Hayden, that is her 4th, and indeed it is.
Now, Matt, remember, this is a young Iowa team. 3 of the players on the court right now are sophomores. You know, this is a team that there was a lot of learning and growth that had to happen this season for Iowa. Players who emerged, who are still learning who they are on these types of big stages. So right now, like, yeah, Iowa's the 2 seed, and they're the program that's, you know, been to the Final Four a whole bunch of years here now, but it's a different roster, and these are players who are figuring it out for themselves right now.
9 freshmen and sophomores for Iowa, the most since the 2012-13 season. Meanwhile, in the Virginia huddle, with a couple of returning vets, including Kimora Johnson, they will get the ball across half court after the coach mocks timeout. Where are you going here if you're UVA?
Oh, the way they will always go. They're going to put the ball in the hands of Kimora Johnson and trust their star to make a good decision. But guess what? Because she has struggled in this game, other players have had to step up. Her teammates are in rhythm. So they've got to be ready to be a threat, and she's not afraid to pass the ball.
Winner will get TCU in the Sweet 16. 42.8 to go, tied at 57. Each team with a timeout left. Johnson with the basketball. Hounded by Feuerbach. 10 to shoot. Johnson kicks. Smith lost it, picked up by Hayden. A timeout left for Iowa if they want it. Shot clock turned off, and the time. Winner to the Sweet 16. 10 seconds to go. Wright with 5. Wright with 3. Wright for the win! And we're going to overtime in Iowa City. Lob into Amanze, lost it, and it traveled. Amaka Agugwa Hamilton, what a historic run for the Virginia Cavaliers through this tournament. Just a couple of days ago, became just the second first 14 ever to win their first round game. Hoping her team has just a little bit juice left. to take down the 2 seed. Last 10 seed remaining. Hayden knows. Stokey draws a foul and will go to the line for 2 shots. And Amanze may have just fouled out.
One thing I am seeing Virginia having gone away from is double teaming against Ava Hayden. And I think a lot of that has to do with the foul trouble that their posts are in. They can no longer attack that because they've been coming down and fouling her. So Ava's looked very comfortable against one-on-one defensive coverage. She's been able to get it deep and been able to size up and get her shot off.
Virginia gets the ball. Under 4 minutes to go in OT.
That should have been momentum Iowa. Amanze fouls out and you've got the ball under the rim. And now Virginia ties it up and got the ball back. I mean, what a shift and everything that happened out of that sequence.
And that long layoff, too, of play sort of took the juice out of the building a little bit. Stokey finds Hayden short. And now Johnson with the basketball. Team high 16 points for the number 2 scorer in the ACC behind Hannah Hidalgo. If you're looking for that Notre Dame game, by the way, they're playing Ohio State over on ESPN2. We'll get you there at the conclusion of our game. Meanwhile, another whistle on Iowa. And that is the 3rd on Kylie Feuerbach.
And right now, overzealous on the screen. Ends up getting called on the foul.
4 team fouls on Iowa. 1 more Virginia in the bonus. Winner to the Sweet 16. 3 minutes to go. Weimer trying to get it to Clark. Hounded by Chit-Chat Wright. 5 seconds. Clark, shimmy, turnaround, buries it. 15 points for the senior.
Paris Clark has been the difference. She has filled the gap for Virginia.
Feuerbach almost picked by Johnson. She wants a review here. Ruling on the floor, last touch by Virginia.
A lot of confidence in this play because Kamora Johnson is being face guarded by Feuerbach. So Paris Clark decides, I've got to take this shot. And she's got a height advantage on Chit-Chat Wright to get that shot off.
Coaching staff could not quite look at the iPad quickly enough for Coach Mox to make the challenge. Results in a miss anyway for Iowa. Back the other way, it's Johnson. And she resets with 20 to shoot. Turning the corner on Feuerbach. Floater, banks it down. Kamora Johnson with 18 to lead all Hoos. Hayden left her defender on the floor. Weimer wanted a whistle. Easiest 2 that Hayden's gotten all weekend. 26 for the sophomore. Johnson into the chest of Feuerbach, blocked, got it on the seat of her pants, scooped by Stremlow. Up ahead, Feuerbach, 3-on-2, bounce pass, Stokey, yes! Tied at 63. Timeout, Virginia. Those deep runs in March. This is a younger team, though, than they've had in recent years, and for Virginia, trying to keep the magical run alive. 1 timeout left for both teams and an offensive foul. Back to the Hawkeyes.
A couple of unforced errors here for Virginia now on offense. Concentration. Got to lock in. Weimer trying to set the screen here. Ref's going to say it's not set. But it also, Feuerbach makes it hard on them because she's just moving. You know, it's hard to set a screen on someone who is so active.
60 seconds to go, tied at 63. Virginia with fouls to give. Feuerbach. And a chance to give Iowa the lead. Stokey goes down, remains down. Numbers for Virginia. Smith, kick out, Levy for the lead. And Stokey runs back down the floor, hobbled for the rebound.
From the floor to the rebound. Now that is senior leadership.
4-second differential between game and shot clock, and Jan Jensen calls her final timeout. What effort and toughness. Iowa has yet to attempt a free throw today.
She's been quiet.
Away. They also added additional time. It went from 21.4 to 22.1.
This overtime has been so impacted by calls and waits and reviews.
And remember, the shot clock is now turned off. Iowa with a 1-point lead. Virginia with fouls to give. And they will send Wright to the line.
Now, Chit-Chat Wright is a great free throw shooter, and she has played admirably throughout this game. But you'll remember at the end of regulation, a little bit of indecisiveness from her. And then now in overtime, been a little bit quiet. So every time she steps to the line, the moment is really big for a sophomore who's in a completely new role of a lot more responsibility here since transferring to Iowa.
Even if Wright makes both, it's still a one-possession game, and Virginia can advance the ball with a timeout. Both teams in the bonus. No timeouts left for Iowa. You have to box out if there's a miss here. Wright makes it, and Mox calls the timeout. So, the Cavaliers will get the ball. Week 16. Down to 18.5 to go. No timeouts left. Here's Johnson defended by Feuerbach. Drives. Banks it down. We're tied at 65. No timeouts left for Iowa. Shot clock turned off. 12 to go for Chit-Chat Wright. 6 seconds. Wright. Stremlo. Rims it out. Rebound. Hayden did not get it off. And we're going to a second overtime.
Kimura, what do you know? And she says, we know what we're capable of. And a lot of people, they underestimated us. That's why 628,000 brackets were busted yesterday, because they don't know. They don't know us. I was like, ooh.
Weimer could not save it. Well defended by the sophomore Ava Hayden.
But I love that Kimura Johnson knew exactly how many people, how many brackets were made that picked against Virginia, and they busted them, and that's been their theme all season. We know.
Tied at 65. 4:30 and change to go in double OT to send a winner to the Sweet 16. Right three. Johnson the rebound, wants to run. Has played back-to-back games of 40-plus minutes for Virginia in their second overtime game of the tournament. Levy turnaround jumper's good.
She's just been quietly just doing whatever the team needs. She's a heartbeat for them.
The 9th multi-overtime game of the NCAA tournament. Wright brings it out. Stokey wins it back. Stremlo ties it at 67.
Stremlo only had 3 points in the game right there. Just a heads up, tough play to move without the ball.
Paris Clark, huge in regulation for Virginia. Big reason why they even made it to this point. Trailing by as many as 9 in the 4th. Johnson, no. Clark, right place, right time. Chance at the three-piece for the senior.
Paris, she has changed the game for Virginia. Paris Clark is the reason why. She's a huge part of it. Like her tenacity, her hustle, her effort on both ends of the court. At one point, Virginia was really down in this game, and Paris Clark was a big piece of them being able to climb their way back into this thing.
Completes the three-point play. Meanwhile, Samaya Smith back onto the floor for Virginia. Such a huge piece with that championship ring she won a couple of years ago at LSU. 3-point lead for Virginia. Seeking their first Sweet 16 since 2000. Hayden posting. Stokey driving, stepped out of bounds. rebounds by Caitlin Weimer. There's the block in the post by a team that has led the nation in blocks all year.
The defense is set. They're standing and waiting right there. Iowa's got to move the ball more, make the defense shift and rotate. That will help set up the drive.
Three to shoot. Wright's got to get it up. Instead, airmails the pass to Hayden, and it's going back to Virginia. 15,000 on their feet at Carver Hawkeye, the 53rd consecutive home sellout in this building. Clark thought about it, pulls it back out with 10 to go, turns the corner, bounce pass, Levy lost it, Weimer went up with it, no, 3 seconds, Johnson has to heave, and did she draw a foul? Yes! Right before the horn, and it's of the three-point shooting variety.
Wow, tough foul for Chit-Chat Wright. All you got to do is contest. And just out of the scramble, too, the awareness of the shot clock from Kamora Johnson. Absolutely hunting and draws the foul. And this is just a tough mistake
for
Chit-Chat Wright.
The foul is under review
Beautiful.
to see if it beat the shot clock at the end.
Well, now they will review when the foul was called versus when the shot clock went off. Ball is out. Foul was called. Illegal contact happened before the clock hit 0. It looks like to me, Roz, I think this stands.
I think it stands. The shot is clearly off before the shot clock goes out, and they've called a foul as Chit-Chat Wright gets caught coming from behind and swiping down. Again, though, another thing to point out is the reviews in the overtime. Actually pretty useful for players now that are playing.
To get that foul with the shot clock expiring, a near 85% foul shooter this year, knocks down the first. First miss of the day was previously 5 for 5. Been a marathon woman, makes 2 of 3, 39 minutes plus in 3 straight games for the second leading scorer in the ACC. Then picks the pocket of Chit-Chat Wright. Dribble drive, through contact, backs it down. Largest lead of the overtimes for Virginia.
The Virginia players are smiling. Paris Clark has a smile on her face.
The last double-digit seed standing. Felt like they were playing with house money. Hayden off the mark. Stolke rebound. Left hand won't go. And a whistle. And it is on Iowa.
It is. It's on Hayden.
And that is it.
And she absolutely did it. Yep. First of all, you've got to commend Virginia for the defensive intensity, and then when that ball was inside, they kept their hands straight up. That concentration from the beginning of the game, defending without fouling. And Hayden came in over the backs trying to get that rebound. It absolutely is an offensive foul. Everybody's hands are straight up, and she pushes in the back of Caitlin Weimer. Not a great play, and surprising for Ava Hayden, who understands the time and situation. You've got one foul. You can't be good. You got to let that one go. Stay on the court. It's double overtime. Again, sophomore.
Back-to-back games with 26 for Hayden. We'll watch the final 158 from the bench. 76-67, one timeout for Iowa remaining. Stolke, the senior, stepped out of bounds by Weimer, but a whistle. And that is the 4th on the grad transfer from NC State.
Where Caitlin Weimer is going to be at fault is bringing her hands down. She's got a significant size advantage. Just wall up, stay high. Again, the message to this team at practice in Virginia, who's #1 in the nation in shot blocks, was forget the block. Hands straight up.
Stolke, just a 58% free throw shooter, was previously 0 for 4. Misses the second. Clark the rebound. Tied up by Stolke, and Iowa wins it back.
I got to tell you, Matt, that offensive foul from Ava Hayden, pushing in the back for an offensive rebound, just a real mental lapse. there's a ton of time left in this game, and Iowa is without their top scorer and their #1 go-to player and force in the paint.
Stremlow, baseline, scoop pass, extra to Feuerbach, 3. Tapped out Stolke. And now 3-on-2 for Virginia. And Clark draws a foul at midcourt. Seemed unnecessary for Iowa as it will send Virginia back to the line.
And, you know, even though Virginia has all of those newcomers, 8 newcomers, 7 of them transfers, they've got a lot of tournament experience, and that a number of these players have felt this before. And so I feel like you're seeing a poise right now from this Virginia team, a confidence that they can do it.
Paris Clark at the line with 18 points. 3-year starter, bought in to the vision that Amaka Ogugwa-Hamilton brought to this program 4 years ago. Took over a program that won 5 games prior to her arrival in the season before. First 21-win season since 2018. Right, a step-back 3. 2-possession game, 1:21 to go in Iowa City.
Huge response from Chit-Chat Wright. For a second there, it seemed like they were losing her, but right there, that's a big response.
Now Clark draws a foul, and that was intentional from Feuerbach.
There were a number of plays where perhaps you felt was Chit-Chat Wright fading. And right there, huge needed play to keep the hopes of Iowa alive.
And it was Kylie Feuerbach who gave her the foul, and that is the 5th and final for the graduate from Sycamore, Illinois. Potentially playing in her final collegiate game. She'll watch the rest of it from the Iowa bench.
And with her fouled out, that was the best defensive option on Kamora Johnson. Actually, in my opinion, really the real reason for the struggles that Kamora Johnson had to overcome in this game. Her size and just work ethic on defense will be missed for Iowa.
7-point game. Right. Logo 3. Left it short. Scooped out Smith. Tie-up deal. Virginia ball.
There's a lot of time in the game left. I do like aggressive and confident play from Chit-Chat Wright, but I also think now the ball quickly goes back in the hands of Virginia. Is there something you can run on offense and make the defense work a little?
Johnson fouled by Stremlow, her 2nd. And the back-to-back all first-team ACC guard going to the line for 2 shots. A reminder, those of you tuning in looking for Notre Dame OSU, I hate to say it, they're almost at halftime. It's over on ESPN2, so you can flip over there and watch that. We'll get it out to their site as soon as we are done here in Iowa City. 80-71. Virginia erased a 9-point fourth-quarter deficit to force overtime. Stolke left open, banks it in. 50.5 left. 1 timeout for each team, both in the bonus. Johnson had it picked. Stremlow, no. Tap out, Stolke wins it back. Deal, 3. Way off the mark. Stolke saves it again. Did not draw iron. 20 to shoot. Deals 3, no. And it's finally ripped down by Samaya Smith. And a whistle comes in. I believe a timeout was called. No, a foul was called first. And Virginia will go to the line again. The effort of Hannah Stolke does not want her career to end today. 19 rebounds.
Insanity. That stat alone tells you about the aggressiveness and hustle on the court. And that also is in 48 minutes of play.
The door is still open for Iowa. Missing one of their better 3-point shooters in Feuerbach on the bench after fouling out. Of course, Hayden, their top scorer, on the bench. She too fouled out. Stremlow, down 8. Step back 3. Long, rebound Levy. Johnson trapped in the corner. Long throw to Smith. Has a run out and wisely winds the time down. Back out Levy. And Iowa Iowa will foul with 13.3 to go, and the Who's can taste it on their bench. Let's take a look at today's Capital One rewarding performance. None other than Kimora Johnson in overtime.
This is through contact with defenders draped on her. She's using her bounce to create the space to get to the cup, to get feet in the paint, and then nice combos to finish. She has fought through a lot of adversity in this game to lead them in extra time.
14 points in OT for Kimora Johnson. Iowa's season will come to a close. 27 wins. They finished second in the Big Ten. A monster year with so much youth. But this is Virginia's moment. First four to Sweet 16. Party like it's Y2K.